Welcome to my sacred space. I've had 4 near-death experiences in my life, and I want to share what that experience was like for me. One day, again, this was like, I want to say 15 years ago, but it's very still present in my mind as though I can reconnect with the experience immediately there, present and fully available. Life-changing. Could have been life-changing in a different way, but life-changing nonetheless. So I remember I was in a lot of pain, and so I went to the doctor, and the doctor, I don't remember the particulars other than he gave me a shot. And so I walked into the doctor's office in tremendous pain and kind of curled into a ball. And when he gave me the shot, it took seconds and I was laughing hysterically. I went from being curled into a ball to just laughing, and clearly outside of pain and in a place of, well, I didn't even know what I was laughing at. I was just laughing. And then as quickly as that transitioned, I found myself in kind of a shaking place. I had left the doctor's office and I was in the car. I wasn't driving, thank goodness. Thank you, Spirit, for that. And by the time I got to my place, I felt myself very, very cold and shaking a lot on the inside. And so I laid down, and the way that the room that I laid down in was, it had vaulted ceilings, and I happened to be laying down and where my scope of vision was up to the top corner of the vaulted ceiling. And there's a reason and a purpose why I'm telling you that. So I laid down, and I remember shaking and feeling colder and colder and colder, and like ice. And then all of a sudden, my body felt like one of those, I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called other than what they visually look like, which is a sand timer where the sand runs through. And the reason I mention that is that's all of a sudden I'm laying there and I'm feeling my body kind of empty out from top, and it keeps going down and down. When I say empty out, it felt like my life force was dwindling, and it felt like I was getting smaller and smaller. And when it passed my eyes, I could no longer move my eyes. When it passed my mouth, I felt like I couldn't talk. When it started moving down all the way to my feet, and I just felt, I'm going to say, like I couldn't move at all. And so then my attention was immediately drawn upward, and I'm looking up at the corner of this vaulted ceiling, and what I see is a perfectly round ball of light, and it starts to unfold, and as it unfolds, it comes towards me. And as it unfolds and comes towards me, I feel so much warmth, so much peace, so much light. I didn't feel afraid. I didn't feel panic. I didn't feel lost. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel despair. I saw this, what many people had described and have described in books, in interviews, in all kinds of things. And here I was experiencing something similar. And I remember I wanted to go to that light because it was so familiar and so soothing and so kind, and everything that would represent to your humanity as a place where if you're in pain or your body's shaking or you're cold, etc., that you would choose to go to. So I'm seeing this light, and as it expands and encompasses me, I start to experience almost like a thawing out, if you will. And so all of a sudden I felt like I could move my mouth. And the realization came to me that I was given a choice, and that I could stay in body or that I could very much leave. I felt that once that golden, warm, loving, all-encompassing light were to wrap around me and return to itself up in the corner of the vaulted ceiling, that then my soul and my spirit would go with it. And I felt very strongly, and with my spirit counsel's guidance, that I needed to make a decision, a very clear decision about staying in my body at that time. And so I remember calling out to my roommate at the time, and when I called out to her and she heard and came running in, that light that was about to encompass me and return to itself, that had expanded, it went right back up into the vaulted ceiling and away. And I started to get really cold again, and so I asked her to wrap me in a down blanket, which she did. I was so grateful for her, and I fell into a deep, deep sleep. And I remember in that sleep visiting with my spirit guides, my council of beings, and loved ones from the other side. I remember sitting and having communication with them. And I remember it was such a peaceful, loving communication, not only, by the way, about me, but about humanity and what the future held, and my possible part in it. And so, of course, I chose yes. And I'm so grateful every day and every moment that I did. And when I woke up, I remember being in the room and looking up at the corner, and never, and I haven't, ever forgetting what transpired, how it transpired, what happened, the feeling of peace, the feeling of love, and why it transpired. And I've never forgotten each and every detail as a very significant life choice in my experience. And so when you hear about other people's experience with near-death experiences or death experiences when they've gone to the other side and come back, all I can say to you from my truth and my journey is that I too experienced this unfolding, gorgeous, endless, warm, loving, all-enveloping light. And it had a consciousness to it. It wasn't just a warm lamp light. It was a consciousness of light, and a very brilliant one. And so I wanted to share that with you. Thank you for joining my journey, and blessings to you.